And good afternoon, and welcome to season 5, episode 11 of the Leaders Only digital show and podcast. This is the last show in the Gregorian 2024 year. I'm with my brother Kendall, and I am Samaj. We are brought to you by What a Change Mentoring and Tone Drone. We're excited about the Leaders Only show and the strides we made this year in 2024. So we're going to talk about those. And we also have some plans that we have coming for the upcoming year. We want you to invite your friends to check out the Leaders Only show, have a watch party, subscribe to our channel, share, like it, hit the bell, comment below. And if you're watching after the live stream, it's all good. Just put a hashtag replay in the comments and let us know that you were here. How you feeling today,
Yes,
brother?
sir. Hey, man, I'm blessed, man. Peace to everybody, man. Love, as usual, man. I'm here. I'm grateful, blessed. Um, another excellent season, another execute. Excited but bitter that it's the last show of this season, but you know how we do. We'll be right back in a quick second. Um, let's get it going. You want me to kick off the news?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so in the news, we have a young woman dosed in gas, set on fire while walking to the store. Cops mystified by what happened. Young North Carolina woman was dosed in gasoline and set on fire by a sick suspect who then fled, leaving her heartbroken mother wondering, how could they do this to my baby? Ashanti Downey, 20, was rushed to the ER the night of December 16th with second and third degree burns down the right side of her whole body. Staffers at Central Carolina Hospital in Sanford called called the Harnett County Sheriff's Office at about 7 o'clock p.m. to report the horrific act, which happened as down along Highway 27 towards a Dollar General in a small town. That's when an unidentified man came along behind her and dumped gas all over her and lit a cigarette that sparked the blaze. Downey told investigators. She was later moved to a local burn center where she was listed in critical but stable condition, with nearly three-quarters of her whole body, according to a GoFundMe set up by the family, which has raised over $85,000 for Downey. Left this message. My daughter celebrates her B-Day, which is her birthday, January 1st. And due to this hatred crime, her life will.
Yeah, my brother might be experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties, but due to the hatred of that individual or individuals, her life will be forever changed. And her mother, Donisha Davis, said that on Friday, the investigators arrested 23-year-old Jami Razia Griffin. He was also charged with attempted murder, assault with deadly weapon, inflicting serious injury, and assault on a female domestic violence. Griffin is being held in Harnett County Detention Center without bond. We would like to get to one of the clips about this story and then come back and share our thoughts. So we're going to see if our production team can go to that story for us. There it is.
Why could you do this to my baby? You didn't have to do this to her. We were told that she was leaving a grocery store and an unidentified male came up to her and doused gasoline on her and lit a cigarette and flicked it on her.
Yeah, we're back, man. That's a very, very, very touchy, very, very touchy and sad situation there, man. First and foremost, my heart and condolences go out to her. My prayers go out to her for a speedy recovery, and whatever that may look like, to getting her as close to being healed physically, mentally, and emotional as possible. Secondly, just looking at some of the charges, I didn't know that assault on a female, domestic violence, was a charge. That's something different that caught my eye, as well as I'm not sure if Harnett County just calls their prisons or their jails detention centers. But normally when I think about detention center, I'm thinking about somebody underage. So I'm trying to figure out, like, why would you take somebody 23 years old to a detention center? Um, Lastly, I'm just, or not even lastly, but third, it just makes me think about the state of the world that we're in, um, on how careful you have to be. I know nobody expected that. She probably made that walk tons and tons of times, um, with no problem. I will always, just encourage women especially young ladies, but to let somebody know, see if somebody can go with you, see if you can get a ride. Um, as well as just thinking about being able to give back, um, to get back so you can get back safe. Like we take for granted leaving the house and coming back home safely. So in that situation, man, it was very sad. As they said, it's a sick individual, but we don't even know if he was on some type of drugs. We don't know what he was thinking. I don't even know if he was an African American or what race he is. It makes you think, was this some type of initiation? Tons of things run through my mind, but above all, um, we have to protect our babies. You know what I mean? Our young adults. So I would wonder, um, where the father is, how their family dynamic is, to the point where did she tell somebody, um, or anything like that. This is just so unfortunate that you can't really give too much advice, because it's like one of those things that's, number one, is catastrophic, but it's not something that you would think of on a day to day. So above all, man, just keep an eye open. If you are traveling, try to travel in spaces that have lights and that have a lot of people, so you can at least have witnesses and possibly get some help. Us in our community. Um, this is another story in our community that just makes me wonder, like, when are we gonna, come together, put our foot down, get tired of people just picking on us, doing things to us. And it only matters if, like, it's a cop shooting us, or it only matters enough to get us enraged online, but it doesn't change our behavior towards one another, and it doesn't change our status quo in our community at all. So with that being said, I just feel like, man, just keep your eyes, ears open, and just please, do the best that you can with communication and getting into safe spaces. Learn from these situations. What you think, bro?
This story was a tough one. I was almost in tears just seeing, just by me reading it and reading over it. It's not shocking. The crazy part is it's not shocking in the world that we living in today, especially in the domestic world. So much social media broadcast stuff like this. Um, Rather with the domestic violence situation, which in her situation, she probably didn't even, I don't even think she knew this young man. And for him to carry out and act like that, he really had issues already. Maybe nobody was paying attention to him. Um,
like you said, this girl probably they live in a small town, so I can always see people walking to the stores like that because it's probably miles out, probably a couple miles out if that. But yeah, man, it's tough. It's disgusting. It's mind bothering. It's heart. It hurts your heart to see a beautiful young lady get her life taken, not even knowing for what. Just out of somebody else rage, or either they could have had a crush on her, or you never know. So it's just simple fact of it's another life gone for no
Mm,
reason, ignorant act, um, and it's just crazy where we living in these days. So
yeah.
yeah, it's just yeah,
Let's
I don't know, man.
let's keep in mind that
This is crazy.
she's still living. So they got the that's what I was saying. We just looking for a speedy recovery. They raised over $85,000, so that's a plus. Just continue to contribute and donate if you can, because I'm sure her medical expenses are going to be really high. And like I said, only thing we can do is learn from the situation. I don't even know what the man could have been doing beforehand. Was he discreet? Was he belligerent? Was he in his right mind? Showing any signs? It was a 23-year-old dude, so could have been on fentanyl or anything. What we're going to do is we're just going to pray that the justice system, you might be muted, that the justice system do their part, you know what I mean, and that it is carried out the right way, but that the young lady, that she heals, because she's 20. So we still want to see, what great things can come from this and her strength and her motivation. So her test can turn into a testimony for other young ladies and young men around the world. Go say again,
Yes,
bro.
sir. I love it. Yeah, man. I was just agreeing with you. I was just commenting on what you were saying. I was just agreeing with you. Cause yeah, it's sick, and people don't pay attention to the little details that people give out. Like you say, you never know what that dude was on. He could have been walking down the street tripping the whole time. People see stuff like that and don't pay no mind to it, or laugh at it, or think he's just tripping, or he's out on drugs or something like that. But uh within the next 5-10 minutes he can take, you see how easy it is to harm somebody else, and things of that nature. So it's just like I said, man. I suggest those who are young, man, especially if you're a female, always walk with somebody if you're gonna walk. Always try to have somebody have your location, things of that nature, because man, like I said, we living in a wicked world, man. So it's crazy that somebody just light a cigarette and burn somebody up for no reason. It's sick. It's sick. We in a sick world, man.
This is why I am pro Second Amendment. If you can't carry a gun, get you some mace, get you a taser. But I would, if the laws permit you at 18 to get a concealed carry license, I would suggest you get one. Some of us in open carry states, you know what I mean? Because that's a type of situation where you don't want to see nothing handled, but she could at least de-escalate the situation before and she becomes an enforcer now, you know what I mean? Opposed to being, dang, you the victim, you know what I'm saying? You don't have no wherewithal. It's just out of the world. Somebody could pour anything on you, and it could have been water, but it just so happened to be gas. So, please keep your eyes, ears open, communicate. Don't travel by yourself, ladies. If you can, if you can get a ride, ask for one. Those who have the vehicles, those who get upset, when you have to give somebody a ride or something. This is an example why you shouldn't get upset for doing something for somebody, because it's a lot of times that happen like that. I don't feel like taking you here. I don't feel like doing that. But then what happens if that person lose their life or go out and something like this happen? You're going to wish that you would have gave them a ride. You're gonna wish that you could have one more second with them. You know what I mean? You're gonna look at them, and every time the mother looks at her, every time she goes to the mirror and looks for herself. So I'm gonna pray for her healing mentally more than anything. You know what I mean? Because the physical gonna be one thing, but every time she goes and looks at herself in the mirror, she's gonna remember how she looked. You know what I mean? So she's gonna have to get an ultimate amount of strength, but a support system. She's gonna need support out of this world. But I do, I pray that it all happens. And what I do pray the most is that this becomes a phenomenal story in her 25, her 30, her 35, along her journey, that it allows her to really embark on being able to motivate and inspire other people with her testimony. So moving along, man, our next story, we go from something, a little sad, a little heart wrenching and gut wrenching to something beautiful, man. There's a local theater initiative that nurtures young talents, offering hope to DC's foster children. I thought this was so dope when I seen it on Instagram this week. Jackie Carter founded the Children's Legacy Theater in 2016 on a small stage in Anacostia. The Children's Legacy Theater is creating a new legacy for children in DC, including those facing hardship challenges. The city reported that nearly 500 children are in the foster care system. Every 150 children across wards 7 and 8 are trained to be on the stage and behind it and get paid. Some are ankle monitored. Oh man, some are parents, some are ankle monitored, meaning they're on house arrest. Some are in foster care system. All just need a safe place to be. 15-year-old Zachariah Manigault is one of the Carter's students. And his quote, and he quotes, "I have always known I wanted to be an actor." Manigault said, "The Children's Legacy Theater has allowed me to open more doors. The next door is leading her to a performance at the Kennedy Center. Former students of the Legacy Theater are currently producing for Jay-Z, opening for Beyonce, and creating their own legacy. The Children's Legacy Theater was awarded the Kennedy Center Social Impact Award, and its entire 2025 theater season will be at the Kennedy Center. That's big. Kids ages 10 to 18 participate in this program, and the theater opens its doors to all children, including hundreds of children in the DC area currently in the foster care system." I'll go to you, bro. How do you feel about that?
It's always amazing to highlight our stars, man, because that's what we preach. That's what we practice. We do this for the babies. So to recognize them and share light on their situation, even though they're in a tough situation, to share light on their situation is always a blessing. Always amazing. It's awesome to recognize young talent because that's our future. So that's who's coming next. So yeah, it's always great. I can't wait till we can get out there and see what's up with it. Because the Kennedy Center is something big in DC. So for them to have that spotlight, and for them to be able to recognize their talents while they're going through a hard time, or if they're going through a hard time, because some of them might be saved by this situation. So that's the blessing of it. But it's dope, man. It's real dope. It's a dope situation right there, and I commend the creator of it, because they didn't have to go out their way to do that. So it's always a blessing to see kids grow, you know.
Yeah, I definitely second that thought. I also look at it to it being an outlet to save terrible adults or adults that don't grow. A lot of times adults get older, but they don't grow. You know what I mean? And the main reason is because your whole life you was looking for love. You was looking for somebody who cared. You was looking for somebody to take some time to give you an opportunity. It's dope to see these young men, these young ladies, get an opportunity because when you're in foster care, most of the time you hear about young men and young ladies just going through the system. Just, okay, it was hard. Well, we didn't have nobody to care about us. We didn't have no opportunities. So for this just to be an opportunity, what it also does is like, as we've been talking about, certain things, business, I won't go into detail, but what it should do is spark all of us, to start putting our minds together to think about programs. A lot of times when we think about business, we think about that bread, we think about that check, we think about that bag. But that's a lot of the reason why I converted. We already had the El Capitan and be a leader, but then you dig deeper in your heart. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, these young men and women have gone on to be producers in an industry. You know what I mean? That has allowed them to feed their family. Now, who they work with and who they work for, I'm not really here to get into that. But what this does is just give them a means to now strive for something better. We have to create more programs so they can have the means on how to have financial literacy when they do get the check, how to keep your spirit and your soul in order when you get approached to be offered money for a check. So there's many components that go to this that we can create as a people, more opportunities and more programs that do, create funding, and you can have a lifestyle and take care of your family by creating products, services, and programs. It doesn't just have to be another clothing line. Doesn't have to just be another rapper. Don't have to be, what I mean? Everybody don't have to go pro, and as far as NFL, NBA, Major League, how about we just make better professionals? I was looking at something today that just said, entry level cybersecurity, is starting at entry level at $65,000 a year. So it's just like certain things that you want to be able to teach young men and women, you know what I mean? Whereas though, um, again, they would have felt depressed, they feel lonely, they would felt forgot about, you know what I mean? Especially when you're in foster care, that means either your mother, your father are um, not alive, or we'll just say even more that they're just absent. You don't have that presence. So to not have that presence mean you don't have the best direction. And then as we know, from our experience and all being adults, that if your parent hasn't healed, and if your parent didn't get the proper direction and get the proper knowledge and get the proper this, the proper that, you're going to become an adult and you're going to have to figure this out, or you're never going to figure it out at all. So just more programs. Emotional intelligence is something that we speak on a lot. Mental health, emotional health, physical health. You know what I mean? All these things where something like this, I can't wait to go, like you said, interview her, talk to her, get some pointers on how do we help, how do we create another avenue that just you can put them together. Now that's two programs, or that's two opportunities. So I love it. You know what I mean? I love it. Um, Babies, just stay pure. You know what I mean? Stay as pure as you can. Do it from your heart, and just know that the Most High is always there. So don't feel like you're alone. You know what I mean? There's always an avenue. So moving forward, man, you got the break. What you got?
Hey, before you go to break, right? Also, 2 seasons ago, I think it was about 2 seasons ago, we had a young man that wrote a movie and directed a movie, and we was on set.
Yeah.
So I just want to commend that young man. What was his name again?
Oh, you talking
We'll
about
get it.
Turning
We'll
Point?
get it.
I think man,
I
Jay.
watched the movie
But
on. I
name
watched the
is
movie,
Turning Point.
but the movie is Turning Point, and this is what y'all. This is what that situation can open up the door for. Them type things. But I just wanted to commend him and let him know that there was a good movie because I finally watched it this weekend, and it's on Amazon. So that was real dope, man, to see that we was a part of that uh behind the scenes. So that was dope, man. So commend them and that program that's starting right now. Uh, Big shouts out to the creator and keep pushing.
So again, that was a great idea, to be able to always have extras and get extra people to share stuff. I'm not sure why it sound like that, but we want to move forward to our break. We got to continue to encourage you to be the best you, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially, man. Practice safe habits, practice obedient habits, practice discipline habits. Be aware of your surroundings. Try and travel in groups during the day as much as possible, and especially at nighttime. Eat right, sleep right, meditate, exercise. Please, what you don't move, you're gonna lose. The new year is approaching to you. Mine will be here in March, so you don't have to wait for a new year, new you. You don't need the resolutions. Start today. You know what I mean? Be mindful that the suicide hotline is here for you. If you are feeling anything, don't you hesitate. If you're struggling, just hit 988. 988 is the number, and there'll be somebody there in confidence that can talk to you, that can help you, get you a counsel. And again, man, if you ain't eating right, you ain't thinking right, and we ain't even gotta argue. 2025, we ain't arguing. You right about everything. It's on you. But if you can't say it to the Most High, don't say it to your people that's trying to help you. You know what I'm saying? Keep that in mind. Um, the Leaders Only season recap. We had season 5 recap. You want to go into that?
I love that. Yeah, we had recaps. The first one we had was the fatherhood and fathers being in the house. So how did you feel about that? me personally, I can go ahead and elaborate because that was one of the best shows, and it was the kickoff. Because everything we basically talk about or practice society sort of like took the father out the house, and it's kind of sad. We stressed it a lot, but there are fathers that are in the house, so we want to commend the ones that are in the house. And if you're not in the house, that don't mean your relationship has to be crazy. So we touched on all those bases in that show. So if you ever miss a show, just know that we have it on YouTube, and it's always able to go back and watch. So there's nothing to click it, watch it, then click the bell, comment, email us, or whatever you want to do. But one thing that we do, and one thing that I love about our staff, our team, and Samaj is it's not all about our perspective, but the ones but when we do put out our perspective, it's either you take it in or you let it go. It should, like you said, we going in 2025 reflecting on you. So arguing, stressing, and things of that nature, you should leave it at the door.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, the fathers in the family unit, man. Just this whole year, we grew a lot. We were able to, do our normal spot. We were able to move around. We were able to go to Green Run and do their homecoming in Virginia Beach. We were able to hit the MLK library in Washington, D.C. about a couple of episodes ago. We were able to do what we want to do as far as talking to the youth, getting more involved with the youth. So traveling isn't an issue. We brought you plenty guests, a lot of news articles that should be touched, and just topics that we should touch. That one about fathers in the family unit is very pivotal to our future. It's the reason why our president is the way that it is. We have a lot of overly emotional young men and young ladies running around because their family structure and dynamic isn't one that's based on love. We have a lot of people out here surviving, and we have to get back to a place of love. Our episode 2 was homelessness in the United States with our brother David Davis. And again, that goes hand in hand. Fathers in the family unit, homelessness in the United States is very, very it's very gut wrenching right now because it started out you would hear about Skid Row like somewhere like LA or in some of your cities, major cities, you would see a few people downtown here and there on a bench or something. I remember coming up, it was a bench, and to the point now where you see full out tents, you see people with furniture, that was in their living room, literally outside now in their tent. So with that, it's just always a rude awakening. I mean, how literally, the United States and right in our face is it has some parts that are like third world country. In my eyes, the America or United States corporation has turned this land into a third world country if it wasn't for credit. You know what I mean? I feel like credit gets a lot of people by. We are one of the main countries and only countries who even utilize that system. But that system is because they are breaking our back without it. So that homelessness, man, just to see, the numbers of, reported was up into like the 3,000s for young men and young women. So just just talking about that and realizing that we can do something about it. Again, these problems arise for you to find solutions. So episode 2 was definitely much needed, and it was definitely great to get somebody who works in the district with that, so we can get some numbers put to it instead of just opinions. um Episode 3, what you got?
My bad, man. My service is going in and out, y'all. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Episode when we had Leah Carter Brooklyn. But we had the police interaction with children down there at Berry Farms with Leah Carter in Brooklyn. that was a nice episode. It was nice to hear from, the young men and young lady that were there. One thing that we, came upon out of that episode, that we all can concur on was that you have to be mindful. We can't call these places our communities, our hoods, our blocks, and we can't even have the decency to protect the young men and young women. In today's time, there are tons of ways for us to work together so we can have a neighborhood and it don't just be a hood. But if we're wiping out the neighbors, if we wiping out the babies, we putting the babies in harm's way, then we don't have no legacy. So keep that in mind. You're only as strong as the next generation. And if we're not building them strong, then we failed. Episode 4 was just a replay of season three's episode with Dr. Moore, where you should try therapy. Recommended to everybody. There's different forms of therapy. You don't just have to go talk to a psychiatrist. You can talk to a counselor. Part of your therapy can be physical therapy, where you're working out in workout groups. You could get in reading groups. You could do meditation. It's all about what works for you. But we are recommending you try some form of therapy so you can get rid of that young lady and that young woman that's holding you, or young man that's holding you back from evolving to your grown up self. There's generations of trauma put on you that you may not even know. That's what we were talking about yesterday. That, man, you might have some stuff put on you that your parents might even not had it done directly. It might have came from two great grandparents ago. You know what I mean? It's just been passed through. So therapy is definitely wonderful, and definitely always a big shout out to Dr. Moore. We got to get him back on. Um, how you sounding? How's your sound?
It's going in and out, but I can hear you. I can hear you. You hear me? Can you hear
Uh-huh.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Uh,
Episode 5, homecoming. Like we said, we went down to Miami Beach. A phenomenal year over there at Green Run. We really, last year was just a test. This year, man, we really gelled together. And I can't wait to look forward to working with them for the off season and then into next year. Tremendous thank you to the staff over there, our fellow coaches, the athletic director, but above all, the players, for allowing us to come in and to pitch this idea to them, to work with them with sea moss and, lion's mane and ginkgo biloba and different herbs for recovery and, keeping the brain strong, preventing concussions or concussion recovery. It's going to be cool, to get down there next year. We actually we had made it. We won the region. Tons of players. We had the first team all region player of the year on offense, and we had the all region player of the year on defense, and we had the all region coach of the year. So again, man, we have tons of things that we can build on. We didn't win the state, so that means we still have work to do. But that's great, going to the off season with the confidence that we have. We actually played a heck of a game against Maury, and like I said, I can't wait. I just can't wait to see where we take it and building this program. Episode 6, children having children, mental health check. I'm still serious about. I feel like we should have mental health tests. You know what I mean, an emotional test before we even allow people to have children. For those who have children now, the only thing you can do is heal yourself, so you can become a better parent, and that will increase the relationship that you have with your child. Again, we can't tell you what to do, but we do have to deal with your children in society. And when they're not around you and they're around us, they are our nieces, they are our nephews, they are our children. You know what I mean? And if you want us to keep our eyes on them when it's a threat, and you got to teach them not to be a threat to us, you know what I mean, and to the community. They can only do this by seeing you not be a threat to the community. At some point, we need to have more assets in in our community than liabilities. But again, since nobody can't tell nobody nothing, I just pray that at some point people just listen to the Most High, because that's who's always in control, and you have it inside you. You know what I'm saying? So you should treat others the way that you want to be treated. But we've already been down for centuries. You know what I mean? Why would you want to keep adding to the dysfunctionality, to the indecency, to the poverty? to the illiteracy, to the degeneracy, you know what I mean? And the list can go on to the diabetes, the high blood pressure, the high hypertensions, and all these things. So um, let's just do better and give people grace. But even those with grace, at some point you have to grow up. You have responsibilities. Nobody laid down with you and told you to do it. But what we won't do, we won't judge you for it for doing it. But you do have to put on your big boy boots and your big girl panties, and you do have to accept your responsibility, even if you're not going to be together. A child doesn't deserve to suffer because somebody was ready to have sex, but they wasn't ready to take on the responsibility that comes with it. That being said, use uh, prophylactics, use birth control. Ladies, try not to use that type of birth control because it does mess with your hormones. And again, we are in the holistic field. So the number one birth control, if you're not ready for what comes with it, don't have sex. Build a friendship, get on the same level. See if you really like this person. See if you can be around each other without sex. You know what I mean? That's a true telltale sign that you even like somebody, that you can be around them without sex. So keep that in mind. We move right from children having children straight to when children go missing and missing children, and where we spoke on the numbers. And we even spoke on, it was real interesting that that episode was about the when it gave us the reference to the disabled children and how they can be preyed on easier, but it's harder to find them because they don't have the wherewithal and the alertness that a lot of people have. So keeping that in mind, but also keep in mind that you are melanated and your melanin skin and your organs are worth a lot. So we have to become a family structure in the house, and we have to become a family structure in the community again, because if we don't, we will continue to be preyed upon. We are being preyed upon right now. And it's a laughing matter because a lot of people know we won't do nothing but put some post up and we'll go march and we'll tear some stuff up, but we won't come together and unite on a united front to hit people in the pockets. We won't hit people who directly hit us. We can't go take it out on a race for nothing. We got to go directly to where this is happening. And we do have to fight in black and white. We have to fight in black and white, and we have to unite on the physical side to let it be known that if we must fight physically, it ain't going to be against each other no more. We turning this energy against whomever is. There's right and there's wrong. There's righteous and there's unrighteous, and we come from a righteous people. It wasn't all about who had the most women, who had the most shoes, who had the most. At one point in time, it's about who had the most favor. You know what I mean? Who can be the most helpful? Who was the strongest? You know what I mean? Who was mentally the strongest? You would go see older people with wisdom. You know what I mean? Older people had to teach you how to fish, had to teach you how to cultivate the land. We were a people that were eager to learn, and we were a people that were eager to teach. We didn't make guns. We didn't create these. So even if you got 1,000,000 guns and 30,000 bins of artillery, that's not what we created. So no matter the what, these machines that man made is keeping us out of sync with our spirituality. Because no matter to what, I can't tell you about a bunch of other races and people and species, but what I can tell you is that we have multiple brains. We got one in our head, one in our heart, one in our stomach. We have sensors. Our hair stands up on our skin. We have sensors. Our hair stands up on our head. You're special, whether you believe it or not, whether it sounds corny or not, whether it sounds weird or not. Your feet connect to the ground for a reason. You connect to birds, connect to ants, connect to bees for a reason. This sounds crazy because most of the time you're just listening to devilish music and killing all day that you can't even get into anything with the spirit. You being told what to do, you getting dogmatized all day because people telling you what God is and who God is, how you should pray and how you should worship, but you are already connected. Sometimes it's time to quiet the noise, go into self, heal, fast, eat clean, become the best version of yourself. If we would have did that, we would be in a better place. So I know we ain't do it yet. So instead of everybody arguing next year and going back and forth and trying to stunt and shit on one another, it would be time just to go and shit on your old self. You know what I mean? Go shit on your dysfunctional self. You know what I mean? Go turn up on your overly emotional self. Get to a point where you can control your emotions. Get to the point where you can look in your bank account and it may not be 500 million, but let's be serious. Was it ever 500 million in there? Let's get to the point where you could just go look in your bank account and say, man, I'm saving 500 a month. You know what I mean? I got to the point where I could save 500 a month. Now, man, I can save 1,000 a month. I could save 2,500 a month. It's got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? Because just a minute ago, we wasn't saving nothing. We were just buying everything. We were wasting our money on everything, improving ourselves through people with materials, to a bunch of people who just doing the same thing, but nobody has that favor. Nobody wants to show the favor. Nobody wants to show the miracles that the Most High placed in their life. Nobody wants to show that I'm not running to the TV, that person, Beyonce, don't have control over me. Jay-Z don't have control over me. Diddy's story ain't got control over me. I'm more concerned about my own life and changing how my younger cousin can't read. My auntie my auntie might have diabetes or any other thing. Mom, we shooting live too. So just those type of things, man, where we can constantly get better. It's just time to stop harping on the worst and being a part of the worst. You got to come to somewhere and say, am I part of the problem or not? Episode 8, that seasonal depression, seasonal affective disorder. That was big, you know, as we continue to move through these holidays. Only thing that we can tell you again is once you break away from the matrix, if you really break away from the matrix and stop doing what people tell you to do and start doing what your heart and your intuition and your insides and the Most High tell you to do, I can go. We can read. Look, the Bible right here. We can read that. We can read the Torah. We can go off intuition. We can go off facts. We can go off practical knowledge. But there should never be a time when you're in debt and you know you're in debt and it means more to get somebody some gifts. Then we ain't even got to go into the religious side. But if you want to, again, that should not be making you sad. You have to occupy that time. One of the things that we suggested was work your behind off all year, miss out on temporary fun, get to the end of the year when you would normally have depression, do something that makes you feel better. Take a trip, you know what I mean? Find a hobby, volunteer, work with kids that keep you fresh, but do whatever you can so you're not sitting on idle time because idle time is the devil's playground. You know what I mean? And all you do is probably start getting into your thoughts and you start drifting. Outwitting the Devil is a great book where it spoke on that, with drifting. Your mind starts to drift and it gets one thought, it hangs up on that thought, and that thought creates an energy, and then now it flows with that energy. Now it's feeding you thoughts. You know, I ain't good enough. Oh man, if I just had this, man, if we had more money, man, if this, oh man, my dad, oh, I ain't get taught this. Look, man, you still breathing. That means your story's not done. Keep that in mind. Episode 9, we had our young entrepreneurs on the show, Leah and Dejanay. That was at the MLK Theater, crocheting, you know, and bedazzling socks. And as we said, man, it's just a start. You know what I mean? They start off as hobbies, but it's a skill set. You know what I mean? They may turn into businesses and do something totally different, or continue to add to those and add more streams of income. But you must listen to our young ladies and our young men because where your mind stopped working, their mind is fresh. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to read, because you don't want to go back to school, because you don't want to, test yourself or challenge yourself. Don't put your pessimism and stuff on them. Become their business partner. You know what I mean? Feed into the children. And then you never know, it may inspire you to get back, you know what I mean, out there. Episode 10, you know what I mean, while we rocking the NSU, you know what I mean, we just trying to keep that energy going. We did receive Michael Vick as our head coach. We gave him the opportunity to become the head coach of the Spartans. And like we said, above all, it's just great to see. If you know this game, and we were from the '80s, so either going to the NBA, NFL, that was a dream at one point. And if you were young, you watched Michael Vick. You know what I'm saying? He was a once in a lifetime talent. So it's amazing. And then he got hit with reality, in which a lot of our family friends get hit with. You know what I mean? So it's tremendous to see somebody extend that opportunity to where he kind of dropped the ball the first time because he was on his way. He was through the roof. He was about to get one of the biggest contracts and all that. So I just like the fact that he gave his time to society, paid his debt. Now he's coming back. And I like the fact that it's going to bring avenues for him to bring those sneakers back. Now they could be cleats, you know what I mean? The sweatsuits. It gives him a new lane and he don't have to put his body. Now this lane can run forever. It's like I said, it's beautiful how the Most High gives you opportunities again once you pay your debt. You know what I mean? When you take responsibility for what you do, and you have the right mind, the right heart, you ain't out here harming nobody, you just doing what you're supposed to do. opportunity will come. Opportunities will come because, like I said, as long as he letting air and breathe through your lungs, you can make right a situation. Now he ain't gonna change everybody's mind, but there's only one mind that he needs to change, and that's his own, and the man upstairs, and the woman upstairs, and the one in his heart. You know what I mean? He has a new resurgence, and to see what Deshaun Jackson is about to do over there with Delaware State, it's a little funnier to me. I look at Deshaun just a little bit more and a little bit more younger. So this is going to be a true test to see Deshaun Jackson turn over and show everybody that he's matured. I'm just eager to see both of their staffs around them, and I'm very much so eager to be a part of just that Spartan energy, because it's much needed. You know, with all this stuff going on in society, and we can turn on Wavy 10 and WTKR, and we can find millions of bad stories to actually get this story, be a part of this story, and be able to hone in on the energy, be a part of the alumni, be a part of homecoming, have another other events coming, be a part of the community, you know what I mean, giving back to the schools and stuff down there. It's like, man, the Most High has a beautiful way of aligning things. So all in all, man, 2025, we plan on doing more traveling, having more guests, and maybe even an event or two here and there, man, where you all can pull up personally. We are definitely excited about the future, and we look forward to it, joining the ride. As my brother said, we've had 5 seasons of episodes, so sometimes it's just cool, even if you have watched it, just see the journey, because it's been a great test, and it's also been great practice, you know what I mean, for us getting better and getting more comfortable, and also going through and jumping through hurdles. It's showing that the team is strong enough to, even if we got to come on an hour late, if we got to be in different places. I'm very, very thankful for that because that's what professionalism is. And we have to take that with us everywhere we go because you're representing a team. You're representing your last name. You're representing your family. You're representing yourself. You're representing your business. You're representing your team. And then you're representing those who are starting to subscribe and believe in what we got. So we have to be a sure reflection. It's called the Leaders Only Digital Show and Podcast, live stream every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We definitely appreciate you joining us for season 5, episode 11. And just in general, if you ever took time to watch out any one of our shows, any season, we hope you enjoyed that show. We look forward to you joining us in 2025. We're brought to you again by Would Have Changed Mentoring, Inc. and Tone Drone. I am Samaj.
And I'm Kendall.
Yes, indeed. And we like you to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, comment, email us at leadersonly22@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. You know what I mean? We want to hear from you. Not that we just love to hear from you. We want to hear from you. We want to hear ideas. We want to hear any events going on, any stories that you think we should cover, because we're going to cover that story the way that the news said that it happened, and then we're going to try to bring some awareness to it and then some solutions to it. That's what we're here for, and that's what I love about our show the most, that we don't have to just grab the low-hanging fruit and pour into it in a negative connotation. We can find it, break it down, ask questions, but above all, we have to prevent other people from going through the situation, bring light to it, and prevent others from going through it. So see you the same time next week, in the same place. It's been a blessing. We love y'all. Definitely, definitely, definitely. If you need any mental health coaching, any holistic product, if you need training, if you need just a counselor to speak to, we do have products, clothing. We do have trainers available at will, cleaning service. We also have moving service. So please reach out. www.mentalhealthchef.com. Unmute yourself, bro. Mentalhealthchef.com. And you can always follow us via social media. And what was you about to say,
And
bro?
everything correct at the bottom of the page. Everything is on the bottom of the page. Y'all can get all the information. That's all our contacts, all our whereabouts. Get it from right there. Um, Excellent show, man. I apologize for the service. I've been going in and out, but excellent show. I'm very excited to see what next year brings. Um, Congratulations to Green Run. Bro, I got to finally see bro in action on the sideline, so that was dope. To see the coaches all come together as one is amazing. For those boys to also accept you and accept the program that y'all got going on is amazing. So I commend And congratulations to Green Run High, the football boys. Also, congratulations to Vic. That's one of the people I kind of like know Vic a little bit, his brothers and stuff like that. Back in the day, we used to cook for them when they was on the BET show before he had his incident. But everything is good. Like I said, man, I'm just excited for see what this new year bring, man. And I take all messages, so I'm definitely gonna be the one of the people that's taking accountability and reflecting on me. And I'm in competition with me, so I'm going after my old self. That's a fact. Peace, love, and blessings, y'all.
Yes, indeed.